Okay.
Hello and welcome to our Wellness Universe class. We will talk about Lemurian energies and how we can use them in daily life to shift our consciousness and to shift our own vibrations. The topic of this month is reflection. I'm Ingrid Auer. I live in Austria and I'm well known as Angel Lady, an angel expert, a symbol expert. I have been channeling symbols and spiritual tools like aura essences and angel essences since more than 20 years. And today I will do our class together with my dear friend from Australia, with Maya Boston. Welcome, Maya.
Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you for that lovely introduction. Yes, I'm an international light language channel and activator, Gong Practitioner, speaker and teacher in practice for over 14 years now. And I facilitate workshops around the world. And I have a very unique combination of using light language with the Gong sound bath to enable people to move their blockages and to create the life they've always desired to live.
So we two met each other at a Crying event in Manchester, I think was the very first time. Or was it Sedona? I think it was Manchester. Yeah. Or Sedona, we don't know. But we met each other and we became friends immediately. And even Austria and Australia are not very close. We always in connection and do programs, classes. And today, as we mentioned already, we will talk about Lemuria. And I have prepared a little slideshow about the Lemurian civilization to get you into the energy, to get you some idea. Yes, I'm sure you have heard about Lemuria. You might have thoughts that these are simple tales created by the fantastic imagination of some people. This was also the reason or the image I had, because when I grew up as a girl, I never have heard about Lemuria, not in my family, not from my friends, not in school, of course, and not in the environment which was around me. So it took me some years to learn about Lemuria, but when I heard about Lemuria the very first time, it felt very good for me. The vibrations, for me, it was like being home or going home, coming home, something like this. And it was fascinating for me to reconnect with Lemuria on the conscious and the subconscious level. But you see, this is an image how Lemuria might have been looked like. And we know that many people who know ancient culture, for example, the pyramids in Egypt, they know these pyramids, but they are not aware that the wisdom, how to build them, or all the basic of their culture came from Lemuria. Also, different cultures, for example, in Southern America, in the East Islands, I think also Australia, the Aborigines are also connected with Lemuria, but also Mesopotamia, or even China, as I know, and also old cultures on our planet. And if you remember, Avalon, Glastonbury, this also has a connection to Lemuria. Avalon, the old Avalon, today called Glastonbury in southern England, has roots to Lemuria. So no matter what culture, most of the old myths and legends are based on actual facts, as with Lemuria. So the information about Lemuria, there are no written information as I know, I'm not sure, because it was such a long period of time where all the writings did not survive, or they didn't write anything for the descendants. It's only obtainable through channelings, and therefore they can be quite contradictory. So if you don't know which channeling is good or the right one, feel inside what touches you most, feel your vibration, and then you will know what is your truth. Because I think this is not the only truth. There are so many aspects of the truth, and I'm sure you will find your truth also connected to Lemuria. Lemuria was always described as a mythical place or a lost continent somewhere in the Pacific or Indian Ocean. However, the main and most important sources call today Hawaii, the old Lemuria, namely the island called Big Island. And the big mountain of Big Island is said that this was the big mountain of old Lemuria before it almost disappeared below the sea level. According to Cryan, I think you know Cryan, channeled by Lee Carroll, Lemuria was the first spiritual civilization entirely isolated from the other civilization which lived on Earth at the same time. You know, civilization started about, or mankind started about 300,000 years
10 people.
or longer.
5 are from Big Sur.
Some
3 are
say
from Santa Cruz.
Okay, who is there? The voice from the background, Pamela.
Yes. Can you please turn off your microphones?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, some 100,000 years at least, but these were only people without high development. So the first spiritual civilization was Lemuria. And the heyday of Lemuria was about 30,000 years ago and ended about 15,000 years ago. So the heyday of Lemuria was about 20,000 years. And it was not a technologically, oh my gosh, Maya, please.
Technologically,
Oh my God. Advanced civilization, but it represented a culture whose DNA, the multidimensional DNA, worked at about 90%. And when we compare to our present people's DNA, which is about 30%, we know that this was really a spiritual high civilization, but not on the technological level. So they came before us and they prepared Gaia, and they prepared also the Akasha, and the intuition and the awareness of the Lemurians was very much higher than today's society, because we have lost our knowledge, or we have pulled the veil of awareness in front of us from incarnation to incarnation, but now time has come to remove this veil, to get aware and conscious of what we are and who we are. The Lemurians knew how to heal with the help of magnetism, how the multidimensional quantum DNA works, and they knew about the solar system and the galaxy. So all this old wisdom, even from which we know from Egypt or from other cultures, originally come from Lemuria. Lemuria was the oldest and longest lasting civilization on the planet, with one single government, and a civilization which never experienced war, over 20,000 years. The Lemurians were different to any other society I mentioned before. And the most important reason for the existence and all the special characteristics of the DNA was to plant the awareness of the Akash energy into thousands and thousands of people who might awaken to a higher awareness in the future, which is of course now, or which has already started within the last 20, 25 years, 50 years, 100 years. And this is the new time, the new age, how it is also called. And therefore we are also connected with Lemuria, and Lemuria never got lost, even if you can't remember consciously, but the connection was always with us. We also can say we all always carried Lemuria within us, even we were on a very unconscious level of mankind. Because as soon as the collective awareness of mankind decides to create a planet of peace, love, and compassion, instead of being extinguished through war and hatred, this Lemurian awareness is reactivated. And I believe this is the time we are here right now, because in 1987, on a very high level of awareness, there was the so-called harmonic convergence. You can imagine like a collection or a come together of many, many souls, and the council of the souls had a conference with the spiritual world, and the souls, we souls, decided to go into the light, to go into the golden age, and to start our process, our awakening process. And since then, there have been so many changes, spiritual changes, shifting energies, and we know that we are on the right way back or reconnected with Lemuria and bringing up this old energy onto planet Earth. So Maya, I think it's now your turn. Yes, last sentence, since this time more and more people awaken the original high awareness which originated in Lemuria. So Maya, I would like to ask you, what meaning did Lemurian women have in their society?
And so Lemurian women were actually the spiritual center of Lemurian society. And this is because the gender roles were very well defined in Lemuria. Lemuria was balanced, which then meant that every individual had the correct balance of masculine and feminine within them, and so they had these well-defined gender roles according to the gifts that each gender could bring. So so the women were the spiritual center, because women's brains are wired differently to men's, and they are more predisposed to communicating with the spiritual world. Women were known as being sacred. So woman was sacred because she carried a portal inside of her. She has the capability of bringing a soul from the spiritual side into the physical realm. So she has this portal. Woman was sacred. Men had things that they did well, and it was not teaching anything spiritual, which is, if you've ever wondered why so many women are attending spiritual events, this is why. Women are being reactivated. Women are interested in the topic of spirituality, and this is what women do. So aside from doing the spiritual work in Lemuria, women of course could be could have many roles, not just as a priestess in the temple. Some women chose to answer the call of motherhood and were honored for bringing a soul through into the physical world. There were women who cared for the children and looked after the children to give the mothers a break. And there were women who looked after the sick and the dying as well. And there were women who used their creative talents and went and picked flowers and created lovely centers for for ceremonies. And there were women who grew some food. It was basically the men's chore, the men's duty to provide the food and to cook the food. So of course fish was a staple part of the staple diet. And men went fishing, and then they came back and they would cook the food. So this was not part of what women did. So it kind of, for me anyway, I like to think this is why the best chefs in the world are male, because this is what men do best. They know how to cook. What women do best is that they are the spiritual center of their society. So we have this lovely connection back to Lemuria, and a kind of a connecting of the dots, if you like, as to why only or a majority of audiences at spiritual events are women.
Mm-hmm. I like to hear about Lemuria because it's really fascinating, and we feel very close to this energy because we wear it within us. And this month, Maya and I decided to talk about reflection. If you want to accelerate your ascension, if you want to shift your consciousness, if you want to develop your personality, reflection or self-reflection is very important for all of us. And I prepared a little slideshow about reflection, because if you want to change or improve something in your life, if you want to understand yourself better, then you had best start with self-reflection, which is not always very convenient, because sometimes we figure out things we better don't want to know about us. But without self-reflection or reflection or meditation, we always will stay like in a cage, and we won't develop, or we can't go further. So some people are afraid of it because they think they have to judge or condemn themselves. This has to do with our childhood, because when we were children, there was someone who judged or who said you are good or not so good, and you have to improve your abilities, for example, in school. And therefore, reflection is not always very nice for us, but it's important to realize that this has nothing to do with judgment or to be condemned or to condemn ourselves. But that's not what it is. As I mentioned before, self-reflection is free of judgments. It's simply an honest self-perception, an honest self-reflection. There are some practical tips that might be able to help you with your own self-reflection. I will show you, give you some impulses. So tip number 1, to reflect and think you need peace. Make sure you find yourself in pleasant surroundings. For example, in a meditation, go out to nature or lie down to a yoga mat or on your bed. Or even if you're cooking can be a very creative process, not only creating some food, but also about reflection and self-reflection, even if you're ironing or cleaning or cleansing your glasses, your windows. So everything that is like like a kind of meditation or time for yourself, use it for self-reflection. And take your time, switch off your cell phone, and allow yourself not to be disturbed. Yes, as I mentioned, take plenty of time to reflect and be patient with yourself. Do not put yourself under pressure. So remove your watch, the clock, your cell phone, and really relax with a good cup of tea, or if you want coffee, take your time. If you do it under pressure, you won't get the answers within you which you are searching for. Take yourself, your perceptions and your feelings seriously. Stand by your feelings. Trust your feelings, trust your emotions, trust your remembering, trust your intuition. You are guided by your angels, you're guided by your guardian angels. And sometimes the answer doesn't come from your soul. It comes from your guardian angels or from an archangel. So therefore it's important to take time and don't have doubts on your impulses you get or your thoughts that are coming up. When you reflect on yourself, do not condemn yourself. Free from self-criticism, realize that you have made certain experiences in your life and accept them. Our faults, our failures are all part of our life, so we don't have to condemn ourselves. It's part of our experience, it's part of ourselves. We have to integrate it into our life, integrate it into our personality, and therefore self-reflection should really be neutral and honest and without self-criticism. Tip number 5, reflect on your self-awareness and discuss with others how they see you, if you want, of course. This is called the external perception. Then compare both views, your view and the view of the other person or persons, because we all have blind spots. And if we have a good friend, we can talk about our self-reflection, and he will maybe add some additional perspectives or aspects of our personality, so we learn more about ourselves, how we are seen in society, how we are seen among our friends, and this might be also very helpful for us. Tip number 6, write a diary or use an app providing you with questions and hints for self-reflections. If you like to write, it's a very good idea to write a diary or write it on your computer or a computer app, because if you write for some days or weeks or even months, you will realize your own process. Because if you read the old stuff which you have written a few months ago or weeks ago, it might be different than what you are writing right now, and you can see your own developing process. So it might be really helpful for reflection to write your ideas, your thoughts, your feeling, your sorrow, your pain, your visions, your dream down, so that they don't get lost, and you can read it after a while and see your own or watch your own development. Tip number 7, of course, use my symbol cards of the Lemurian goddesses to reflect. I have been channeling many symbols since more than 20 years. They are spiritual tools for shifting our consciousness, but also for shifting our own vibration. So one of the symbols are the Lemurian goddesses symbols. I got 21 different goddesses symbols from 21 Lemurian goddesses. And each goddess stands for a certain quality, and each goddess can help us, support us to develop this quality or this ability. So Mokalesha is one of the goddesses. She is the goddess of reflection, and she can help us for our self-reflection or with our self-reflection. And I will talk later on this topic, how you can use the symbols in daily life to connect consciously with the Lemurian goddesses. I just want to mention that I have also liquid symbols. These are the so-called goddesses aura essences, sprays you can use and spray it above your head, into your aura, into your subtle bodies, chakras, and they are multidimensional tools to shift your consciousness, to shift your own vibration, and to transform your blockages from this life and past lives. So Maya, you are now invited to talk your part about reflection, your aspects.
Sure, thank you, Ingrid. And I have past life recall, so I have remembered a lot of things from Lemuria, from my lifetime in Lemuria. And I teach what I call the circle of oneness. And reflection is one of the aspects of the Lemurian circle of oneness. And it is to do with that part of you which is divine, which is within you. It maintains a constant, it's in constant communication with the consciousness of this planet, which I like to call Mother Gaia. And it's in constant communication because it's part of the sacred union, the sacred agreement that made possible this symbiotic relationship between Earth and us humans. Human biology is perfectly aligned with the Earth, which we call Mother, even though it has no gender. Consciousness has no gender. We do this because human biology was created on this planet. Everything from the air we breathe to the gravity, level of gravity that we have on the planet, the distance of this planet from our sun, how the moon affects the waters on this planet and within us as well, because we're more than 70% water, the food we eat, how the magnetic and crystalline grids affect us, everything, all these systems are here on this planet were created for the humans. And so everything that we think, we feel, what words we speak, what actions we take towards ourselves and others, all of this affects the planet because we are one. We are inextricably connected to the planet. So all of these thoughts and words and actions get reflected back at us. So if we look at our world currently, it's in perfect chaos. And that chaos around us is just reflecting the state of humanity within. Humans do not feel peace inside. Many humans don't feel peace inside at the moment. Many humans are fearful and conflicted. There's a lot of noise going on inside each human. So the universe is reflecting back at us all the time. Every negative thought, every positive thought creates a situation in accordance with your thoughts. If you think you're a victim, then the universe sends people and situations to match your thoughts. If you are positive and open, then the universe sends you people and situations to match those thoughts. The universe doesn't judge. It just gives you more of what you think, say, and do. So it just keeps reflecting back at us what we're putting out. We are all one, going through the same things. Once we create change inside of us, as Ingrid said, by the reflection and looking within, then the world around us begins to change. You have the power to change your relationship with the world around you. And so one of the questions that you could ask yourself is, what kind of relationships do you have with yourself first and foremost, and what kind of relationship do you have with others? You have the wisdom inside of you to create more balanced and harmonious relationships with others, but it all starts with you. As you raise your vibration, some people that are currently in your life will choose to disconnect, and this should be allowed, because this is a sign that you are growing, and in their place others will come to form better relationships with you, more than you could ever imagine. And as you become more harmonious and balanced within, your environment will also reflect this. It is a reflection of you and you of it. All the while, the universe is providing, supporting you, and loving you beyond anything that you can imagine. Showing gratitude is a powerful sorting tool that lets the universe know what you prefer. As humans move from the energy of fear and survival into abundance and oneness, this reflects in the nature of the planet. We will see the change in weather patterns, plants and animals too. You will feel the gratitude from the Mother for the changes you have facilitated within yourself. You will feel the connection to your own heart and to the heart of the Mother. Humanity, the galaxy, and to the Creator itself. There is no hierarchy in the circle of oneness, as parts of one are found in parts of the other aspects. All is one and one is all, reflecting one another. There is no such thing as separation. That is an illusion.
And so it is, Brian would say. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you, Ingrid.
I would like to continue. As I mentioned before, I will show you how you can work with my Lemurian goddesses symbols. And after this you can listen to a gong sound bath of Maya. So first, the angel, not the angel symbols, the goddesses symbols as spiritual tools for our age, for the new age. The energy comes from Lemuria, and also Maya's sound will come from Lemuria and also reconnect you with Lemuria, but she will talk about this after my slideshow with my Lemurian goddesses symbols. So today we talk about reflection, and there is one goddess of reflection. Her name is Mokalisha. And she can help you to get more self-awareness, to get more flexibility for realignment, or if you feel suppressed, if you feel stagnation, if you suffer from ignorance. There are some aspects she really can help you, and her tools you can use are one is one of the Lemurian goddesses symbols. This one, number 15, reflection. And you see here some of my goddesses symbols as a pyramid. And I have an exercise how you can solve old blockages and transform old blockages from this life and past lives by the help of these spiritual tools, by these Lemurian tools. I show you the picture. These are the symbols, the symbol cards. And this is the top symbol, the symbols of Lemurian goddesses. They come in English, in German and Spanish language. And I will tell you one exercise how you can use them for reflection and to solve old blockages. Therefore, it's important to know that I channel Lemurian goddesses energy into or onto the angel. I always say angel. I have so many angel symbols. Sorry. Into the goddesses symbols, of course, also in the angel symbols or the symbols of the ascended masters or Mary Magdalene. But in this case, in the uh, the symbol cards of the Lemurian goddesses are like data carriers, so they contain the Lemurian energy and they are reloaded by the goddesses. So you don't have to clean them, you don't have to reload them, to recharge them. This is all on the spiritual level done by the Lemurian goddesses. Yes, the symbols contain highly vibrating, healing Lemurian energies. So, let's get practical. I'm a very practical person, as you probably know. Make yourself comfortable and make sure you're not disturbed, very important. You have time for yourself. If you have my Lemurian Goddesses symbol cards, take card number 15. With a symbol of Mokalesha, the goddess of reflection, and place it next to your heart. And close your eyes, you can breathe in and connect with the goddess, which probably looked like different, of course, but this is only an imagination. It might help us to connect with her energy. Imagine her pale white ray of light softly enveloping you and enjoy her energy. Invite the goddess to come to you. Now ask Mokalesha to accompany you during the following exercise, which you can use as a ritual. It is a really nice ritual. Take your time today to reflect which past situations you would like to transform with the help of the energy of the Lemurian goddesses. So it's about, we start with transformation and reflection of the past. First, take the symbol card of the Lemurian goddess Mokalesha off your heart and put it in front of you on a table or on the floor. The goddess' highly vibrating energy will accompany you during your self-reflection. To throw light on a past situation you would like to transform and solve its blockages connected to it, draw one of the 21 symbol cards and start with one for each of the following periods of your life. So, it's the first period of your life. This relates to your mother's pregnancy. No matter whether you know any details about it or not, all experiences and emotions are also saved inside you. Therefore, draw a symbol card for this part of your life, read the name and the meaning of the Lemurian goddess, and put it in front of you. Now read the two bottom lines on the symbol card and feel inside you what topics your mother might have been confronted with during your pregnancy. You see two bottom lines, and if you feel inside yourself, you can realize which topics your mother could have been confronted. You also can use a pendulum or a dowser to figure out what topics were important for your mother. Next step, read the top lines and recognize what qualities she might have required during your pregnancy. So you get more insight about the time when you were in the womb of your mother, which also affected you, of course. Feel inside you, connecting with a goddess whose symbol you have drawn, because she will give you precious impulses. Write them down if you so wish. Ask the goddess to transform all the blockages and burdens you have been carrying since pregnancy. Now draw a second card on the topic of being an infant or a toddler, following the same procedure as with the symbol for pregnancy. So the second symbol is for the time when you were a toddler. Then read the symbol card, get information, connect with the goddess and write down your impulses. Continue with the third symbol of the Lemurian goddesses for the time from when you were an infant to kindergarten days. Next, the fourth symbol is for your school days. The fifth symbol is for your adolescence. Following symbol card, the sixth one, is for the time as a young adult. And the last symbol card, the seventh, represents the here and now. So if you draw this card and reflect, you will get an answer or an impulse. What's important to know about time, the here and now. Now you have the first symbol card, the symbol of goddess of reflection, and the other seven. And now create a pyramid. Place the 8 symbols in the shape of a pyramid. The top one is the symbol card of Mokalesha. Then place in the middle of the pyramid either a paper with your name and date of birth or a photo of yourself. It's important to know that this works with the morphogenetic field. So as soon as you define for whom this pyramid has to work, the goddesses know which blockages they should help to solve or to transform. If you wish, you can decorate your Lemurian goddesses pyramid with flowers or crystals or candles. Ask the Lemurian goddesses for transformation and healing of old blockages from this life and past lives, probably. If available, you can, of course, use the goddesses sprays of your head, and you can intensify the use of the goddesses symbol cards. So leave everything for some days or week. Leave the symbol cards for some days or weeks. And when you remove the pyramid, thank the Lemurian goddesses and make them a present. For example, a bunch of flower to express that you're very thankful for their help. It seems very easy, it seems a little bit magic, but it really works. I have done this kind of work with my symbols since more than 20 years, and thousands of people do the same every day, and I get so many feedback how the symbols can solve blockages from this life and past life, how they can support us in daily life, in challenging situations. So this is not a play, and it has nothing to do with fortune telling. This is very important for me to mention. It is really spiritual work. Now I would like to ask Maya to talk about your song or your song path, your gong path, of course. And how do you get this? I think, or I'm sure you are also connected with Lemuria and get this information. There is, I will ask Paula in the background to give us the link, because we can hear it now, but if you see the recorded version, then you have to click on the link, because we cannot integrate the recorded gong path into this class, into this live class. So Paula will
Sure.
it right now. Angel in the background. Paul, are you here? Paula is writing. So she will integrate the link for those who are not able to hear the Gong Path live. Just a moment. And she also will integrate pre-recorded Gong Path. Be patient a little bit. Sometimes technique is a little bit challenging, even in our times, or especially in our times. So, Maya, would you like to say a few words, or we will start with the meditation?
Sure. As I mentioned at the beginning of this class, I'm a light language channel and activator, and there are light codes embedded within the Gong sound bath. So if you would just like to just close your eyes and just relax and perhaps just allow the sounds and the light codes to work with you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Just take a deep breath and allow your awareness to develop in your body once more. Just give yourself some time. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and become fully present once again.
It's the sound of the universe for me.
Thank you, Ingrid.
So if there's any question, you can write into the chat, please.
Laura says, yes, it is the sound of the universe.
Yes. So I would like to say thank you for joining us. Thank you to be open for the Lemurian energies. Thank you for being open for reflection and self-reflection. And you can purchase the Goddesses cards. Yes, you can get them on Amazon. Pamela, you are from Canada, I think. Otherwise, you can write to office.
I think your sound has gone off. Ingrid, can't hear you. Can anyone else hear Ingrid? No, I can't hear Ingrid either. I don't know. There's something that has gone wrong with the technology tonight. But thank you so much, Marilyn. Thank you for the, Marilyn says, thank you. The sound bath was beautiful with, no, I don't know. We can't hear you, Ingrid. Yeah, I can't hear you at all. So thank you to everyone who has joined us here tonight. I think the Ingrid has typed the if you've got questions about her cards,